taking this forward, lately we are seeing a very big trend of young guys, young girls supporting BJP, supporting nationalistic politics in social media, in different blogs and other things. Take this further, to strengthen this mindset and to get them to work at grassroots levels. What are some of the books, resources, or podcasts both of you would suggest? This is again an audience generated question, because most of them wanted to know what they have to read, what they have to listen, what they have to understand to strengthen their ideology, to strengthen their commitment towards the society. What books, podcasts, or resources would you suggest, both of you?
I'm not a big fan of the podcast, but the only podcast I listen is Tim Ferriss show. I listen it off and on. But otherwise, remaining, I feel it's too kind of long for a person kind of thing. Tim Ferriss I like. And for the books, yes, he himself is a huge reader of books. I would say for youngsters having an aspirational political career, I would tell them two books that I'm reading now currently. One is Barack Obama's The Promised Land, which has just come out. And we all see Barack Obama becoming a president at 45 and two-term president and all those things. But actually what made Barack, the president, is the work that he did as a community organizer in the land of Chicago, and the steel mills, the closed mills, from Harvard Law School coming there, and that silent work they did, the 10 years of groundwork they put, which propelled them to a position of power. And it is not a position of power. Since you had that grounding and understanding of issues, you are able to make sensible decisions. If you look at Hillary Clinton's book, The Hard Choices, like the MP said, when you sit in his place as an MP or as a national president of Yuva Mocha, it is all hard choices you make. Nothing is easy in politics. The more higher up you go, every choice looks easy, looks tough, but you got to pick the best out of that. Hard Choices. The book itself is named Hard Choices. So when people read a lot of these books, one thing they would get clarity is what we spoke about, patience. Put that hard work in the ground. And second, it's a Game of Thrones, not the Game of Thrones variety of what we see in the TV. The Game of Thrones, because it is not a very smooth path to walk. Like you said, 100 people walk in, you always find a way to give them a solution. But you have to break your own head. If the government is not working, make it functional, make it work, and all those things. So last but not the least, I would say pick up your reading also from a field that is away from you, because a lot of cross-functional learning will stimulate your mind more. Like he is quoting blockchain, he is quoting artificial intelligence, algorithm, what is happening. So you can pick up a lot of learnings from startup companies. This office is a classic example of how a MP office is not in India. A person who's standing in the road can see the MP sitting. It is designed in such a way the transparency is maintained from the road, people can see the MP sitting. And that chamber is a place where all non-political people interested in doing social work are sitting. And these are areas where young people like you, including you, you're giving your life for a cause for South Bangalore by doing something that you love. Technology abroad, you're live streaming across India. So this is because he's thinking cross-functional. He didn't think like a typical politician how he has to think. So that doesn't come if he reads political books. So read political books to get a grounding. At the same time, pick up books from other fields which will give you a cross-functional learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tejasvi?
Well, quickly, I wouldn't want to go into a lot of book reading and give syllabus for this thing. But for me, personally, this wall in our office is a very important wall. I call this the ideological pillar of the office. So this wall is where I started my reading. So Ambedkar, Savarkar, Aurobindo, and Chhatrapati Shivaji. So I think these, four people, I would suggest any young political activist to read, because reading them will give a very clear idea and understanding of what India is. One person whose big picture we have put inside my chamber is Swami Vivekananda. I started my political, my ideas reading Vivekananda, Aurobindo, and Ambedkar and others. So I think this is a very important reading if you are interested in understanding what Bharat is, what Sanatana Dharma is, what Hindutva is, and having your ideological clarity in mind. Then I think it's very important for young leaders today to read popular science, because science will give you a lot of logical reasoning, understanding, clarity. And it will also give you a key and insight into understanding new developments for the future. So I think Evolution of Cosmos, there's a great book called Cosmos by Carl Sagan, which is one of my favorite books. Richard Dawkins, again, something that interests me. And I think it's also very important to understand philosophy. I mean, that's something that I like reading. So whether it is Upanishads, whether it is Hiriyanna, whether it is Radhakrishnan, whether it is a lot of Kannada books as well, you know, which has given me a lot of insight into life and philosophy. Bhairappa and Kuvempu and all of these. Those are something that helped us understand life from a very philosophical perspective. Also, it's important to read, at least have some basic understanding of how economics and world economics work. So I would suggest reading Karl Marx, 1984, Animal Farm, also Critique of Communism, whether it is, so many, lectures on capitalism, things like this. These are all serious reading, which, will help us understand policy issues and what is happening, etc. in a more clear way. And I think insofar as podcast is concerned, now because I travel a lot, I get from Bangalore to Delhi, the flight is 2.5 hours. So I get to read new contemporary stuff. So I keep reading a lot of motivational stuff because every day I have to wake up with some kind of a personal or somebody else's challenge. So I try to keep reading a lot of motivational stuff. One book that has actually helped me pass through a lot of, in 2017 I had a lot of personal and professional issues. So one author whose books really helped me understand was Ryan Holiday. There are two books which I would suggest any interested young person to read. One book is called Ego is the Enemy. The second book is titled Obstacle is the Way. I have actually suggested this to a lot of my friends. That book helped me understand a lot of things better. Podcast, there is one interesting podcast that I've come across recently. He's an Indian tech entrepreneur called Naval Ravikant. So I'm sure you have heard of him, and his podcast, again, Tim Ferriss Show, is very interesting. There's another channel that on YouTube called Ivan Carmichael. So he the best of the best speakers from around the world, motivators from around the world, quick bites, quick speeches of him are available on YouTube, Ivan Carmichael Show. So this is a lot of learning, a lot of studying if you are interested. So these are things that I keep learning and reading all the time. So if you enjoy reading, you should be at it all the time.